Hello everyone, my name is Federico Cernera from Sapienza University of Rome, and I will present to you token spammers, rug pulls, and sniper bots, an analysis of the ecosystem of tokens in Ethereum and in the Binance Smart Chain. The authors of this paper are myself, Massimo Morgia, Alessandro and Francesco Sassi. As you may know, in the last few years, different services that take the name of decentralized exchange are born on the blockchains. These services allow anyone to create a market for a token, which are cryptocurrencies created by the users. And they employ smart contracts. This means that they don't need the presence of a third party that act as a guarantee. Now, at the base of the dexes, there are liquidity pools. Liquidity pools are a pair of tokens, and there are two types of users that can interact with the liquidity pools. The first one are the traders, and the traders perform swap operations. When a user performs swap operations, they insert inside the liquidity pool the token A, and they receive back the other token, the token B. Meanwhile, the liquidity provider inserts deposit inside the liquidity pool, both the token A and the token B, and they receive back LP tokens, which are tokens that represent the percentage of the liquidity pool owned by the liquidity provider. Now, in our work, given the huge popularity of these systems, in our work we studied this ecosystem of both the tokens and their liquidity pools. And we choose to analyze these ecosystems on two blockchains. The first one is Ethereum, one of the most popular blockchains in the world, and the second one is the Binance Smart Chain, which presents itself as a cheaper and faster alternative to Ethereum. So, first of all, we run two nodes, one for each blockchain, and from these nodes, we analyze 4 billion transactions, and from these transactions, we extract all the smart contracts that have been created from the initialization of the blockchains until March 2022. Now, starting from this first set of smart contracts, we select only the ones that are responsible for the tokens and for the liquidity pool. And at the end of this process, we had for Ethereum more than 320,000 tokens and more than 70,000 liquidity pool. Meanwhile, for the Binance Smart Chain, we had more than 1,070,000 tokens and almost 1 million of liquidity pools. Now, the first question that we want to answer is for how long these tokens are traded by the users. And to answer to this question, we introduce the concept of lifetime. With lifetime, we mean the period of time that goes from the block that presents the transaction that creates the token until the block that presents the last transaction that trades the token. And from this analysis, we discovered that the 60% of the tokens have a lifetime of less than 24 hours. So this means that they are used for a very short times. And of course, we call it one-day tokens. Now, we want to also know how many of these one-day tokens are inside of liquidity pools. And for Ethereum, 1/3 of one-day tokens are present inside a liquidity pool. But most interesting is that almost all of the one-day tokens of the Binance Smart Chain have an associated liquidity pool. So it seems that the main reason behind the creation of one-day token, especially on the Binance Smart Chain, is to create an associated liquidity pools. Now that we highlight the presence of these particular kind of tokens, we want to know who created and why they create these one-day tokens. And we analyze all the addresses that create at least one tokens, and we found out that there is a small subset of addresses, in particular is the 1% of addresses, that are responsible for creating over 20% of the tokens. And we call it these addresses token spammers, because they create a huge number of tokens and they create it in a serial way, one after the others. And if we look at the type of tokens that the token spammers create, we found that more than half are one-day tokens. This means that a small number of addresses create a huge number of tokens, but these tokens are used for a very short time. This is strange. And the reason is that they use one-day tokens to perform rug pulls, which are very well-known operations that are conducted on blockchains, and these operations leverage the mechanism of liquidity pools. So the rug pools are divided in 5 phases. The first one is called token creation. So the token spammer creates a token. We can call it token X. Immediately after, token spammer creates a liquidity pool, which pair is formed by the token X and a token with a real value, like Ethereum or BNB. And then they add the liquidity. In this way, they create a market for the token X. Now they wait, and they wait that one or more investors swap inside the liquidity pool. Each swap, of course, increases the amount of the real value token, like Ethereum. And after a variable number of swap, the token spammer decide to remove all the liquidity. They can remove all the liquidity because they are the only liquidity provider, so they own the 100% of the liquidity pool. This means that this operation lead to a profit for the token spammers, but at the same time provide a loss for every trader that invests in the liquidity pool, because after the phase 5, every trader had a token that is useless and have no value. Now, we analyze the extension of this phenomenon, and we analyze all the liquidity pools that have a one-day token inside, and was a single liquidity provider removes all the liquidity. From this analysis, we found that there are more than 20,000 Ethereum liquidity pool and more than 270,000 Binance Smart Chain liquidity pool that have a pattern that is a rug pool. And furthermore, the 80.7% of the liquidity pool that have a liquidity pool, one-day token inside, are rug pools. So this confirms the fact that the one-day tokens are used to perform rug pulls. Now we also compute the profits that the rug pulls generate, and we find that first of all, on Ethereum, the rug pool are more successful respect to the Binance Smart Chain. Of course, is a percentage, but this pattern is. We find this pattern also for the average gain, because we saw that on Ethereum, the average gain per rug pool is more than $250,000, meanwhile on the Binance Smart Chain is only $33. And that's why, because on Ethereum, users tend to invest more money in each liquidity pool. We also compute the cost per rug pool, and also here there is this pattern where Ethereum presents a much higher cost respect to the Binance Smart Chain, but on both blockchains, the investment needed to perform this kind of operation is very low, so is accessible by anybody. Now we change the perspective and we analyze who buy these tokens, and analyzing all the addresses that invest in at least one-day rug pools, we find that a huge percentage of addresses are sniper bots, which are automated tools designed to buy tokens before anyone else, and of course as soon as possible. And they can perform their actions because they scan the mempool in research for new liquidity pools. And when they find a new liquidity pools, they immediately send a transaction to swap and to buy the new tokens. We quantify these bots and we find more 194 sniper bots on both blockchains. They swap in more than 240,000 liquidity pools, and they are responsible for more than one-fourth of all the swaps performed inside the one-day rug pools. So, in conclusions, we show that more than half of all the tokens have a life of less than 24 hours, which are the one-day tokens, that there are specialized addresses that create these tokens. They create a huge number of these tokens, and they create it in a serial way, which are the token spammers, and they create such a huge number of one-day tokens because they won't perform rug pool, which are a phenomenon that is present on both analyzed blockchains. Now, these rug pools are successful because the main reason because these rug pools are successful is because there are sniper bots who buy any token that have been created on the blockchains, and in fact they perform a substantial percentage of the swaps. And that's it. Thank you for your attention.